Alright, I got this Colibri pipe lighter tore apart here and cleaned up. It was pretty dirty. And what I'm going to do is just go through it here on video, and this will be a complete rebuild here to see if this thing's, that way you guys got something like this. I think we might possibly have a leaky fill valve. Maybe not, but you know what? It ain't gonna matter. I'm gonna do it. Complete build on this anyway, and we'll see where we're at as far as. See, we got a leaky fill valve. Alright. No leaks on that, but let's just see if we're getting any butane out of that. Yeah, we're getting butane out of that. Still, the other lighter broke down to this here extent. There's just no sense in just not rebuilding it. Okay. I normally don't do filler valves, but this one needs fixed, and I'm on the video here. I'm just going to go ahead and show you how to do it. First thing is get you a type of tool to get in here and take this valve out. Okay. Alright, we'll go ahead and zoom in on this. You can see this a little bit better. You guys got your computer hooked up to a big screen TV like I do. I got it hooked up to a 65-inch TV. These higher definition videos come out really well. Good thing about these quality lighters, and I'm not saying there's not quality lighters out there that don't have, they don't have these type of rebuildable valves, but this is usually what you got. You got a spring inside this little screw cup assembly here. Alright. Now what you need to do is push out. Well, that one just popped right out. Guys, a lot of times these rubbers on these will be in pretty good shape. This one seems pliable. Let me get my magnifiers on. A lot of times you'll just need a little cleaning, which is what I'm going to do here. look on the inside of these. If they're leaking, you know, just a little bit of dirt or anything in there, you know, could cause that to leak. So we want to get in there and with some cotton swab and kind of clean out the inside of that. I probably didn't make it all the way in there, so actually it's pretty clean. No dirt on that, we're good. Blow dry that off. And first, if your seal on that is still pliable, then get you some silicone lubricant here, a little dab. This is one in case a little dab will do you here. And put some around this area here. It won't take much. Stick it back in. Screw everything back together. See how your tension is on that seal. I don't know. It ain't too big on the tension on that seal, so I'm going to take this spring out here. I actually want to put a little I like to put a little, see if I can find another spring. It's probably too big. We'll see here. Looks to be a little too big, you know? It actually sticks out a little further than the other one, quite a bit, but we'll see if it'll work. I think we'll be good on that. We can't screw this all the way in though, because you got to make sure that you're able to get butane through it. Yeah, we're good. Well, that's done, except for replacing this outer seal. I don't even bother, you know, unless you can't find one. You can try putting some silicone on that, but you're better off just putting another seal on there if you got one. Best thing you can do. I'm going to try this one here. Alright. Starting to use some of these FKM O-rings. They're a little bit, they withstand a little bit more heat, but the trade-off on them is they don't stretch like the Dural 70 O-rings I normally use, because these are like Duro 85 or so on the scale. You start getting up there, they don't stretch very often, but these do stretch a lot better than them 90s I was trying to use. So looks like it'll go in there. We'll know when we clean out the edge right here a little bit. Right, stick that on. I think we're going to be all right. Might be a little big, but let's just see here. Tell you what I might want to do. I might want to stick a little bit of silicone on that to help that old ring seat down in there, because it is just going past the brass just a little bit, as you can see right there. Oh, stick a little O-ring grease on there. And we'll see what happens now. Boy, you know what? I don't think that's gonna work. No, that O-ring ain't gonna work. But I'm not gonna destroy it getting it off. I'm gonna save it. Yeah, you want an O-ring kind of just hits the outside edge of your brass, because this seal here works more on compression than it does anything. So save that. I'm gonna go in here. I'm gonna put that back, and I'm gonna go into some of my other seals I got in here and get out a Duro 70 O-ring here. Let's see. Well, let's see what we got here. 3 point. let's try this one here. It might be the same, I don't know. These are Duro 90s, so I think, boy, these things are. These things can get a little tough. Yeah. You might get that one to work. I do like to use the 90 Duros though on the filler valve. The reason is when you crank that down, they can withstand a lot more pressure without deforming. They're as bad when you tighten down that filler valve. But they're a little finicky about getting on, because like I said, these things don't stretch like your. Oh boy, that ain't gonna work either. It's out too far. See what I'm talking about? That's why you just gotta buy different sizes of O-rings and give them a shot, guys, because there's no factory replacements you can just go out there and buy. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go with this one here. These are a little bit thinner on the cord, 0.68 compared to 1 millimeter. Actually, you know what? I think I got something coming to my head. I'll use one of these here. These actually come out of butane lighters, disposable butane lighters that I've disposed or disassembled. Man, you get one or two of them out of the lighter, that just goes to show you right there how many freaking lighters. I think you get one of these out of a butane lighter. So obviously I've disassembled a few of them disposable lighters. To get all these O-rings. There we go. Check that out. Let me zoom in here. That's how you want that seal to fit, just like that. Alright. Alright, so that's why I say you disassemble in butane lighters like for a pressure washer or something. You know, don't throw away these O-rings. That's come in handy. Alright. Now. Yep. Just what the doctor ordered there. Well, this isn't a Boona 90. These are softer O-rings, so make sure now that is sealing. What I gotta do is I put that new spring on there. I gotta take that out again. You gotta open that up some. Once you take the control valve out of these guys, you gotta get all the air out of there. Well, I'm still having trouble. Butane's not going in like it should. So I'm going to go back to the regular spring. Go back to the regular spring. Now I'll put it in here. Now I got to find it. We'll just try it out. We'll try it. Maybe put a little stretch on it or something. Probably be good now. Yep. As I kind of crank that down a little bit, I'm going to put a little O-ring grease around here. These O-rings here are a little softer. And if you get a softer O-ring, you don't really want to crank down on them too many times, you know. You're going to end up having to replace them. Because with a softer O-ring, they'll deform a little bit easier than they will like a 70 will deform easier than like a Buna 90. Let's see here now. That's it. That's it. Okay, get the air out of there. Now, there we go. Now, we got a little, looks like we got a little leak out of that, but I'm going to rebuild that. Okay, that's no problem, but you know what I can do on that too. I could just turn that off, hopefully. No, that definitely needs rebuilt. My filler valve's good. That definitely needs rebuilt. Let's go ahead and drain this tank. And let's pull this bottom part out. Well, you can tell what's going on here. Couple bad O-rings here. You can just, they're all flattened out, you know. Even though they're flattened out, guys, all right, let the O-rings come off there without breaking. Save them. The reason I say that is because they might work for something else, and you got another freaking weird size O-ring you need, you know. I mean, they're never ever going to work for what they was intended to, but they could work for something else. So don't throw them away. If they break coming off, and you know, they wasn't worth saving. I don't know if I'm going to get this off without breaking it anyway. There we go. I got it off. It bounced over there somewhere. I'll find it later. Now, there's that. Now, let's get this off here. Alright, that's everything that's going to be in the top part right there. Because what you're going to see in the bottom here, what you should see in the bottom here, let me find my flashlight, it's just a little bitty orifice hole down in there. See that? Alright. Now, when I took this bottom flame adjustment screw out, remember, I took that out. This is how this went together. Plus that was, that there little brass piece goes in first. That goes in right behind the sponge. Now, the only way you're going to get that old sponge out of there is try to get in there with you know what I'll do, I'll see if I can't blow it out first. Ooh, look at there, blew that thing right out. The sponge don't look that bad. I tell you what, look at that. It's got a screen on it. See the little dimple there in the screen? See, the majority of the time, and see the little cup recess area in there? That's from this right here. Pushing pressure on that, push it down against that hole. Now, when I rebuild these though, I always use get me a pack of disposable lighters here. Get these at the Dollar Tree store here outside of town here. So what I'm going to do is basically run a perfectly good disposable lighter. Save the flint. I don't know how many springs you want to save, but save that too. All that stuff in the garbage. And unscrew this so you see hear a good hissing. There we go. Now I just emptied the butane. You only need to save so many of those. Right there, there's that filter. That's what I want. Take that back plate off of that filter. Alright. Now, there's probably a little bit difference in size there. Why I got you here. Here's them O-rings right here. I tell you to save off these disposable lighters. Alright. And I peeled it back off of these. Now, you pull this metal piece off of there, and right inside here is the valve system. I'm going to zoom up on this, so if you guys have never seen this in other videos, I'm going to show you. Alright, now remember, took the O-ring off here, I pulled this apart. When you pull this out, there should be a little O-ring on the end of here. If it's not, it's stuck inside this cap, alright? There's that spring there. Save those little bitty O-rings. Save the springs. And some of these lighters need stoppers. There's where I get the stoppers. Right there. Alright. I throw these brass parts away. It's got the slits in them. I throw them away. If they got holes in them, I'll save them. Alright, that's that. Now, you want to go ahead and measure size of the original. Let me zoom back out here. You want to measure the size of the original filter here. Looks like 3.5. Looks like that's 4. It's a little bigger. So I want to get my I'm guessing this is 3.5 right here. Yeah, it is. Get your 3.5 leather hole punch. Get your little book, thick book, and a hammer. Try to center that hole punch in the middle of that as best as you can. So I'm just going to use that. It ain't bad, but it isn't good. There's a little off center there. Hole's a little off center too, but it's alright. It's going to work. Alright. Now, there's my replacement pressure washer. Tube that same size. You said, well, if that one's new, why don't I use that? Well, because this one doesn't have a hole in it. These things, after a while, there's the reason why a lot of these vintage lighters, they never had holes in these, and you can see the indentation I showed you earlier from the brass rod here putting pressure down over the orifice hole to plug it up. Well, what happens is after a while, these filters become so plugged up that they just won't work at all. So with a hole here, you got a little bit of a safety mechanism. You know, I mean, a little bit of a better chance of it working longer without having the trouble of a plugged up filter, pressure washer. Okay, so, you know, I want to get inside there. It doesn't seem very dirty, but I want to get inside there with and see if there's any dirt in there. Not really. Look at that. I don't think his lighter's been used much at all, really. It's not that dirty. All right. Now, I'm going to zoom in a little bit here. That way you guys see the hole in there. Alright, now the first thing is put your pressure washer down in there, and you got to make sure it's laying flat in there. Can't be cockeyed at all, it's got to be laying completely flat. Well, okay. I don't know if you can see it or not, but it's laying flat in there. You can actually see through it, see? So that's just the way you want it. Pressure washer laying flat, center of the hole. Alright, now what's next? Actually, what's next is just a second here. What did I do with that little what's next is this little brass piece. Just stick it in there. And I gotta check, make sure it's laying flat over that pressure washer. It is. Then I'm gonna stick this rod. There's kind of a side in here that's a little tapered. You can see right here, a little taper on one end where it isn't on the other. Stick the tapered end in first. Alright, now that's good. That's good. Now what I gotta try to do is the same thing here with this. And I gotta try to find some O-rings that's going to work. Let's see what I got here. I bought a batch of I'm thinking those 1.8 by 1. This is 2. I don't see them things stretching very much. Let's see if I can find them. Let's try these. I'm going to try these. Try to stretch try to see if I can't stretch these out enough to work on the pressure regulator or the flame adjustment valve here. Screw. Oh, I think I'm going to do good on that. Yeah. Might be just what the doctor ordered on that too. Check them out. Alright, just going past the brass a little bit. Just what you need. Okay, now, and I am going to stick a little bit of O-ring grease on these. Now everything's ready to stick back in here. All right. Okay. Also too, I forgot to tell you on this, but on this here flame adjustment piece, that little screw in there, it's got a spring on it. I don't know if you can see it. Let me zoom in here. See that spring on there? That goes inside here. Don't lose that spring. Alright. Okay, now what we're going to do here, we're going to work on this top end. Now, so you'll know, this O-ring here, hold on here, this O-ring that's on right here, it really looks good. Alright, so I'm not even going to mess with that. That O-ring on this looks good. I'm not going to mess with that. The only thing I'm going to do is try to check this stopper out here real quick up close. Yeah, it's got an indentation from the orifice inside. I want to take it out and check it out. That's pretty small. I don't know if I got one that small or not, but if I do, I'm going to replace it. Because the one I'm going to replace it with is not going to have that indentation from the orifice. I'm going to kind of just look around inside my thing here, so I got to get up close. Bear with me here. Let's see if I can find one that's going to work. Not all these little stoppers that come out of these lighters are all the same, so some of them could vary a little bit. Well, let me see if this will work. Oh yeah. There. Now you can see that that one's got an indentation too, but it's bigger than what was on this other one. So it's gonna conform a new, smaller indentation on this. And this is newer rubber too, so I know it's going to be good. It's going to work. I've never had any trouble with any of these I've replaced not working. Alright. Now, I'm going to put a little bit of silicone on this seal here. Okay, and go to install that back in this lighter here. Let's see if this thing will work here. No, it ain't gonna work. Let's go back to what I had here. another one. I got one of them little nubs broke off on this one. I don't know if this little tool will work or not. Yeah, it's a little bit too big for that. This is what I use for my Colibri. This little tool here I made for my my Savinelli light repair. Yeah. Try this. There we go. Alright. Now, what I'm going to do is shoot some butane in it. We should be completely rebuilt here. Yeah. Alright, we got plenty. I got a little lye dropper full of alcohol here. What I'll do is I'll just put some in here and some around this, and we'll look for little tiny bubbles. I do got a little tiny bubble coming up here. But sometimes that'll do it right there. And it did. You know, guys, sometimes these filler valves, trying to wait for this thing to focus. Sometimes these filler valves, you know, when you fill it up, sometimes you want to just pop it like that, and it'll blow any kind of a, you know, lint or something that possibly could be in there, kind of blow it back out. So anyway, let's see what we got here as far as flame adjustment and all that. Okay. Definitely. All right. We actually had that little bitty foam on there. You know, that's running a little taller, so I'm going to stick it. Because I rebuilt that, you see that's not running flush down in there. Now I kind of get by with that. It's putting an O-ring on that. Maybe that one, I don't know. Oh, actually, let's use a little piece of rubber. Well, that might not work. Now let's go the O-ring route. I'll trim the sides off on it here. I'll have to trim the sides off on it when I reinstall everything, but it'll be this here actually. This should work pretty good. Back it up a little bit there. See what we got here. Up. Getting a little bit of a flame out of there. Yeah, it's actually holding it on. See how that flame adjustment works great. Let's back that O-ring off down here. There we go. That O-ring a little thick. Let me get one a little thinner. Let me now, and that's just more of what we need right there. All right. There we go. Tell you what, we're good to go. Now, last thing you want to do, check for leaks. No leaks there. Keep in mind, you might get one bubble or so out of that filler valve when you stick this down in there. Check for leaks, because you got air trapped in that little orifice. All right, there we go. Need something? Huh? Need something, honey? Okay. Anyway, okay. Now we're good to go here. Next thing is maybe I can push. There we go. Push that. Well, I pushed it through. I think. Yeah. Now. I took that off of here. I don't know if it necessarily needed to, but whoops. Probably didn't need to. All right, this little bitty thing here just goes back in here to hold that brass tube from popping out. Well, I'll tell you what, I gotta get some light on the subject here, guys. I can see here. And let me push that in with back into this. Just a second here. I have a screwdriver. There we go. I just took that everything off there to clean it. Most generally you won't have to do that. I'm trying to get that in far enough. Just a moment. All right. Let me get the spring, push that back in there a little bit with it. All right. There we go. That's in there like that. Now, this I didn't take out, but I am going to clean it a little bit. Actually, I am going to take it out because it needs cleaned. This crevice here got some junk in it. I don't know if you can see that stuff that's coming out of there, but it's got some junk coming out of there. Kind of noticed that because that wasn't going down completely like it should. All right, take a little bit of alcohol and clean that off. Clean that lever up a little bit. And stick that back in there. And see what kind of movement I get now. Yeah, that's better. That's better. It's got a better click to it. All right. Okay. Let's put the, I guess we better put this back together right. Just like that. I took this apart. You don't have to you don't have to take this out like I did, but I took it apart, cleaned the flint wheel up and everything. Let me get it started here. Just gonna have to hold it with this. Yeah, well, give me a moment here. Alright, there's that. I'm trying to figure out which way I need to go on that. I want to flick that to the right. Much clearance in there, guys. There isn't much clearance in there. There we go. Alright. Now, this only goes in one way. Okay, that's right up here. That's, you know, there's a big hole, little hole. You'll see what I'm saying eventually, that it's a little hole. Now you get an O-ring in there, alright, and you're going to get a brass. Well, see if I can find where it walked off to here. Little brass end that goes up in there. Where's it at? There it is. Alright. Alright. Now, once you get that in there, you gotta kind of hold on there a minute. Let me figure exactly how I did that the last time. Sometimes these things can be a little tedious. There's like a little bit of, there's a way to put them in there, but I haven't done this enough to remember, done enough to lock it into my head how it needs to be done. Okay, like that, that's it. You gotta turn it at a little bit of an angle, if I remember right, something like that. I'll just try to get that. Well, hold on here. I think that's why I took that off of there first time. Just give me a little bit more clearance. Pushing this in. See this right here? This gives me more clearance with that. I think that, if I remember right, that's how that works. Yeah, that's how that worked. Get that over there. get that down in there appropriately. There we go. And it's down in there. Just pay attention when you're doing that, alright? This little piece here, and it goes in there, so it's got a flat spot, so you're going to want to keep that toward the plastic. Alright, now that's why I took that out. That way I could, now I gotta push that back in so I can get that bracket back on here. Let's see, did I get along? No, it ain't good enough yet. Alright. There we go. So remember, you're going to want to take this, you're going to want to take that brass piece off and move that brass flint tube out so you can get this turned and out the proper way for clearance. Alright, now that's all back together appropriately there. Now let's kind of get this together here the way we want it. Alright, let's stick this little bitty foam piece was right in here. Just like that. Alright, now we should have just a second, let me look here, make sure I got my, okay, well, we ain't gonna get nothing out of there until we get this hose assembly on there, are we, guys? Yeah. And I put another, this is a different hose. I think I'm gonna have to cut it off a little bit too. It's still a little bit tall here. Let's try that. See what we got here. Alright. Alright. Now we should have flame. Right, there we go. Leave it on high and shut it off. There we go. On, off. We're good. Alright, now if I remember right, I'm going to have to take this tank out to install this cover here on, because of this here slide coming up over the case. Because if I remember right, I had to kind of bend that little plastic case a little bit here to get that on. Because these cases are tight. Kind of put a little flex in there, just like that. Yeah, just like that. You see how I did that? You're going to have to just kind of flex that case a little bit. Then, this here is a hose. Actually, I think the hose I put on from this end here. No, that's not right. It goes from the inside. Let's put that up. Let me get my other. Get in here and get that hose, put it back on. Bear with me here a minute, guys. Trying to do stuff here up close and in the dark. There we go. Now let's see what we got here. Let's make sure that's right. Get that over far enough. It's because of that O-ring, I think. No. Give me a second here. There we go. All right. That's high. Let's turn her down. Let's turn it down to low. Shut that off. Now what we're looking at now is this part of the case here. Put it down right up here. There's little tabs on top. Okay. And push it together. Now when you get to this point here, you got to take this here little deal here. This, stick it in there. This is what holds your cases together. Push that in there. There's that. Now, I've got a low flame setting. I want to be able to open that up. Let's see here. Hell, you know what? Let's put the flame back in here. What's going on with my oh, a second here. Well, that plant assembly thing might have had a blockage in it. I didn't even catch that, did I? Let's see here. Yeah, see that old flat has a blockage in there. Alright. Now, let's put flint in there. You should check that stuff while you got your part out, not the last minute. Alright. Well, what's that? Well, my off lighter's not. Oh, I know what's going on. I know what's going on. Okay, guys. The gas is staying on. I tell you, I know what's going on. It's this right here. See this O-ring right here? Well, it's rubbing up against the case, not letting this thing go back. So what I'm going to do is, I'm just going to take this whole O-ring out. I'm going to stick a piece of rubber underneath there. Cut a little piece of rubber off of this. Alright. Just a little piece. Well, let me get the scissors. I don't know how wide that needs to be, but it can't be too wide or you put them cases on. What happens is, see that rubber O-ring around this, see how flush it is? That little bar right there? What it mounted to was, it wasn't allowing that, it wasn't allowing that to fall down like it should. Let's see what we got now with it off. Yeah, we're not even going to put that rubber underneath there. We're going to leave it off. Alright. Alright. I think this is the second one of these layers I worked on. The first one I had a little bit more problem, but you know, after working on the first one, I've kind of figured out what I needed to do. I'd say that's good for maximum flame. Actually, that's good for maximum flame right there. Let's shut that off. Let's figure out. Oops. Let's figure out this here. Okay, maximum flame. Yeah, we're good right there. All right, Now, if I can figure out, there it is. Alright. There's a little bitty screwdriver there. There's that. Last step is, if you got, just to stick this back on, if you got a little bit of spray can adhesive, and use that. Well, okay, open her up. Well, there we go. Alright guys, there it is, man. Colibri pipe lighter, made in Japan. Hope you enjoyed this video.